Perfect. Go live. Okay, so let me show you guys where this is on YouTube as well. All right, so if you go to YouTube, you can find us by searching for Lumi Wealth. So I'll share this link with you in 1 second. So Lumi Wealth. If you are not subscribed to us yet, make sure you subscribe. There you go. We have a lot of great free content on here. They'll show you how to run your own algorithms, things on investing, crypto. We have a lot of really good content on our channel, so check it out. There it is, youtube.com/@LumiWealth. And you'll see that we're going to go live in a second here, if not already. There we go. So this should be live right now. So when we go to our page, there you go. We see this presentation here right now is live. All right. Go. Perfect. So if you guys are not following us yet on YouTube, make sure that you follow us. We're also going live on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So check us out there as well. We're going to be on a bunch of different platforms, but I think YouTube you'll find the most useful because you have a lot of content on there. All right. So before we get started, quick little disclaimer. We are going to be talking about finance. So make sure that you speak to a financial advisor if that's appropriate. And read over this agreement here because we have a bunch of different things we're going to be talking about. So make sure that you read it over. All right. Here's our agenda for today. What we're going to do is we're going to go over our algorithms first. I'm going to tell you a little bit about kind of the algorithms we've been running, and they've been doing really, really well. So I'm excited to show you a couple of these things. We'll talk about Alpaca as a broker. So if you want to run your algorithms, Alpaca is one option as a broker. We work with quite a few of them, but it's one that we recommend basically because it allows you to have free trades, which is really nice. It's kind of like a Robinhood, but made for algorithm trading. Not every broker works with algorithms, only some of them. Some of them that we work with are Interactive Brokers, Alpaca, Tradier, Coinbase, KuCoin, Kraken, Binance, a bunch of different crypto ones. But not every single broker will allow you to do trading algorithms because they just don't support that sort of thing, right? Only some of them do. So we're going to talk about Alpaca and why it's such a good broker and how you guys can actually use it today as well. Right? And then we'll talk about GitHub, how to actually run our algorithms through GitHub. We'll talk about Render, which is going to be actually hosting your algorithm. So that you don't run it off your computer. It'll be running off of a server. It's kind of like AWS. And then we'll talk about next steps at the end. All right. Any questions, guys, before we get started? This is live. So one advantage of being live is that you guys can ask questions. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to either turn on your microphone and you can just ask a question, or you can just type it into the chat. I'll be watching both. All right. Okay, awesome. Cool. We got some people watching on YouTube as well. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Some quick notes before we get started. If you want to see our plans, the different plans we have available, it's on lumiwealth.com. Depending on what plan you choose, you'll have access to different algorithms, different learning materials, and our community. So check out our plans at lumiwealth.com. I'll be talking about these by the end of the class as well. We'll tell you more about the plans at the end, exactly, and stay to the end, and I'm going to give you a discount coupon. So if you stick around to the end of the presentation, I'll give you a discount coupon code they can use to save yourself some money. All right. Okay, cool. So first things first, let's talk about our algorithms. We've been running some very cool stuff lately, so I think you're going to be pretty impressed with what we've been doing, or very interested in what we're doing, to say the least. So let me show you a couple of the ones that we've been making. So basically, what we do, if you join our community, we spend basically every single week building a new algorithm. We're constantly building some new stuff every single Tuesday night. So for example, last Tuesday, or I should say yesterday was last Tuesday, we were working on a very interesting algorithm, and I think I'm going to try to finish it today on my own personal time because I think it's really, really cool. One that trades crypto bots. So basically, what it does is monitors the Solana blockchain. Whenever a new crypto coin comes out, you'll see we'll get basically a signal saying, there's a new coin created. will buy it, hold it for 3 minutes, and then sell. I'm very excited about this algorithm. When we were running it last night, a bunch of these new coins that come out, people make all these like meme coins, and like there's basically a new coin every 1 minute on the Solana blockchain. Like every minute there's a new one. And if you go look at that, you'll see basically these coins pop right when they come out, right? So they'll get created and then shoot up, sometimes by 1,000%, sometimes by a couple 100%. There's usually quite a big pop. When we did this yesterday, I saw one algorithm that shot up 47% in the first 2 minutes. Another one went up by 1,000% in the first 2 minutes. So either way, you see these really big pops. So we basically have an algorithm that buys that and sells it. Theoretically, we can make a couple 1,000% a month. Theoretically, we'll see how that turns out. But that's an example of some algorithms that we make on a regular basis. That's one that we're working on last night. But to show you a couple of other ones, let me walk you through a few different algorithms here. So here's one that we created a little while ago called our Congress following bot. This one in particular follows Nancy Pelosi. You guys may have heard of this. Nancy Pelosi is known to be a very, very good stock picker. What we did was we created a bot that basically follows her. So if you go to, for example, Congress Trading, there's a bunch of websites that you can follow Congress members. Here's Capital Trades, for example. You can go in here and you can see what every politician is buying and selling in terms of stocks, because legally they have to report it. So if you take a look at, for example, the latest trades here, you'll see Tom Suozzi, a Democrat, just bought Boeing. He's a Democrat from New York. He also bought Corning Inc. He also bought CVS. He also bought NVIDIA. Right. So when you see Congress members like this buying, right, we see a Republican from North Carolina bought Hercules Capital Inc. When you see these Congress members buying things like that, it kind of makes you think, do they know something that I don't know? Right? Or is this going to sway maybe their votes? Their Congress members are kind of like insiders. If you guys have ever looked at insider trading, you could actually find that as well for stocks. It's well known that if you could do that properly, you could actually make quite a bit of money doing that too. But Congress members are kind of like the ultimate insiders, right? Because not only can they have information that you don't have, right? So do they know something about Boeing or CVS that we don't know about, right? Or is it, or actually I should say, and they also have the ability to, if they own something in their portfolio, that's probably going to sway their votes, right? So if they're voting on a topic, some sort of issue that's going to be hurting a company they're holding on to, let's say, in this case, he actually sold Boeing. Let's say if he was holding on to Boeing, you better believe that if a law comes across the table that's going to be good for Boeing, chances are we're going to see some votes for that, right? That they're going to actually be a little bit kinder to laws that are good for Boeing, right? So we have two things here, right? We have the insider information potentially, and then we have potentially that they're voting in the direction of what they own, right? So all this put together, we analyzed a bunch of different Congress members. There's a few that do very well. Nancy Pelosi, not surprisingly, is close to the top of that list. But she is not the best one, actually. There's other people that actually do even better than her in terms of politicians that have good trading portfolios. But here's one that we basically just followed Nancy Pelosi, right? Here's back testing. It's simulated trading of how this would have performed since 2019, because we had data going back that far. And this is how she would have done versus the stock market. So in blue is the strategy. In other words, this strategy of following the Congress member, right? The Nancy Pelosi bot is in blue. And then in yellow, you see the S&P 500. And you can see this thing just absolutely demolishes the S&P 500, right? Almost across the entire length of this back test, you could see this strategy performing better, right? And how much better, you could see that this S&P 500 was up about 150%. Nancy Pelosi was up about almost 250%. So quite a large outperformance, almost double the results of the stock market over the past couple of years. So, all right, so that's pretty cool. That's a back test. We've actually been running this as well. So here's that bot actually running. We started this one on October 4th because we created it around that time. And ever since then, since October 4th, so what is that? That's about a month. It's up 11.5%. I'd say it's a pretty good start to the bot, matching with our back tests, showing us that this trading is actually happening this way. So here's our Nancy Pelosi bot. This is basically everything she owns. 21% of their portfolio is NVIDIA. Probably not that surprising to you guys. But she also owns Amazon, 12%, Salesforce, 10%, Microsoft, 10%, AB, I'm not sure what that one is, Disney, 7%. So you can see all the different stocks that she owns. Surprisingly, she actually owns Tesla as well. Didn't think that would be the case. But yeah, she's got a really nice mix of stocks here. So if you're interested in trading what she has, this is basically it. So there's a question here. So Yuri says Tom Swozy purchased and sold NVIDIA at the same minute at the same price. Let's see. There's a Tom Swozy, NVIDIA. There's NVIDIA sell. And then I don't see, oh, there's a buy. I see what you mean, that there's a sell and a buy. That seems kind of suspicious. That definitely seems a bit strange. Why is he both buying and selling? You got to keep in mind that we don't know exactly how much he bought and sold. Congress members are not legally obligated to give exact amounts. They just have to put it in a range. So we see here that NVIDIA, he's sold between 15 and 50K worth of the stock in dollar terms. And then he also bought between 15 and 50K. So it is possible that maybe he sold more and bought less, or vice versa. This one's a little hard to decipher. So we don't have that exact amount. We just have it in buckets. So I don't know. Seems a little suspicious, but maybe they're just rebalancing somehow, or maybe they screwed up a trade or something like that. That's a good observation. That's very interesting, actually. I'd love to know more about what happened there, because that is very odd. But okay, cool. So we have this Nancy Pelosi following bot. Does very well in back tests. Does very well in paper trading so far. We also, like I said, we looked at a bunch of other politicians, right? So that's Nancy Pelosi, probably the most controversial out of all of them. But there's other ones that do well too. So, for example, Mark Green. This guy's a Republican from Texas. This guy is very good at picking oil companies. We actually looked into it, and he's not on any boards or anything like that of energy companies or oil companies, but the ones that he's picked have done very, very well. Here's back testing his portfolio. You could see basically in the blue line how he's done versus the yellow line, the S&P 500. The S&P went into a bear market in 2022. He basically didn't see any bear market at all in his portfolio. It's as if there was no bear market happening to him whatsoever. It was basically just a straight line going up. Very interesting portfolio. He owns a bunch of oil companies. So if we go into here, this is Mark Green. His portfolio hasn't been performing as well the past since October 4th, but we can see what he owns here. We see that he owns Amazon, USAC, GEL, MMLP, AAL. A lot of names that actually I don't recognize. When we looked this up, it was very like small and mid cap oil companies, but historically he's done very, very well. So I'm interested to see how those perform. Right. Okay, so that's just two of them. If you're a subscriber, which I see a couple of you guys here that you are, if you're a subscriber, you could actually modify this. You could basically trade any Congress member that you want, right? So if there's any specific Congress member you want to follow, that's very easy to set up. You could use our bot to actually trade this and run this in your portfolio, right? Okay, so that's one of our bots. And that's our Congress trading bot, and usually gets a couple of heads turning because it's pretty interesting, but it's not our best performing one. We definitely have bots that do a hell of a lot better than that bot. Here's one of those bots. Here's our diversified leverage bot. This is one of the first bots that we ever made. We've been teaching how to build trading algorithms for almost 5 years now. And this is one of the earlier ones that we made, right? We made this pretty early in when we started moving our company from being simply teaching people how to do this and actually having these algorithms and letting people use them. This is one of the first bots that we created and allowed people to actually use. We call it diversified leverage. Basically, the idea is following this guy's advice, Ray Dalio. If you've never heard of him before, he is a very famous hedge fund manager. I think he runs the biggest hedge fund on earth. They have, I believe, somewhere around 200 billion assets under management, something like that. Absolutely massive. Net worth $14 billion. He's one of the richest people in the world, not surprisingly, because he's managing so much money. Has some very good books. Very, very smart guy. And one of the things he talks about is his all-weather portfolio. So Ray Dalio, all-weather portfolio. He actually runs a very large hedge fund based on this principle. Okay, I think it was like $100 billion or something like that he has in this specific strategy. And what his idea is, and let me see if I could show you a diagram here. Things are all loading, lots of ads on this page. Okay, he says to do a portfolio like this. He actually was in Tony Robbins' book. Tony Robbins made a book recently about like investing, money management, that sort of thing. And what Ray Dalio says is you should be putting your money into this type of allocation: 30% to stocks, 40% into long-term bonds, 15% to shorter-term bonds, 7.5% into general commodities, and 7.5% to gold. And the reason why they do this, and their very massive hedge fund, the $100 billion hedge fund, is because this should theoretically protect you against all different scenarios that could happen in the markets. So basically, there's 4 different scenarios. Let me see if I can find this graph here. There's a nice little chart that some of these things have. I don't know if this website shows it. But basically, if you divide it up into quadrants, right? If you say there's a couple of things that could happen to an economy. It could either be high growth or low growth, and it could be high inflation or low inflation. And if you put that into 4 quadrants, you'll see that basically you could have an economy that has high inflation and low growth, or high inflation and high growth. Or you can have low inflation, high growth, low inflation, and low growth, right? And each one of those scenarios is going to impact these assets differently. I don't see this chart anywhere here. That's all right. So when you're in a scenario that you have low growth, typically stocks are not going to do very well. Stocks want high growth usually. Okay. But low growth, you could still have your fixed income doing very well. You could have your bonds actually paying you still quite a bit of money when you're in a low growth situation. If you're in a high growth situation, you probably want to be in stocks, right? So yeah, so Kelly, yeah, this I'm exactly explaining that. So so when you're in a high growth situation, you want to be in stocks because stocks do very well in high growth, right? So stocks versus bonds is going to be low versus high growth, right? Then commodities are going to come into play, and gold's going to come into play when you're doing inflation. So when you have a period of high inflation, you'll typically see gold and commodities doing very well, and sometimes stocks will do well as well, depending on some scenarios. But if you're in a low inflation situation, you're going to make a lot of money on bonds. Bonds then do very well, especially the longer term dated bonds. So this is his idea, is to basically do this so that you could reduce the risk of your portfolio. So the idea is to have as low risk as possible while still maintaining a pretty good return. So if you were to actually run this and you do this over a long period of time, you'll see that it does not beat the S&P 500. It's not a better performing thing in terms of purely returns, but it does a lot better in terms of risk-adjusted returns, meaning you're looking at a graph that looks very, very stable with very little dips and heading basically just straight up and to the right. Okay, so that's his portfolio. This is why he gets a lot of institutional money. He gets a lot of like pension funds and private equity funds giving him money, because this is so low risk and it's good for their customers, right? How do we take that general idea and we can basically just get a little more leverage, right? Because if you take something that is gives you a very good risk-adjusted return, then you could actually increase the risk on that, or you could increase the returns on that just by taking on a little bit of leverage. So what we did was he took his general idea and instead used triple leveraged ETFs. There's ETFs like this, TQQQ, for example. I don't know if you guys have ever seen TQQQ. This is one hell of an asset. Let's compare TQQQ to SPY, or actually more appropriate is QQQ, right? Which is the, not mining, or QQQ as in the NASDAQ, right? So there you go. So there's TQQQ versus just QQQ, okay? This is, I think, the wrong one. QQQ should have been around for longer. Why is this not popping up? NASDAQ 100. There we go. Okay. So if you look at this over a long time period, right, you see the S&P 500, or in this case, the NASDAQ has done very, very well, right? So here is the NASDAQ QQQ since 1999, right? Going back, quite some time. It's up 870%. Not surprising. U.S. stock markets do very well. I think we all know that, right? But what is surprising is the triple leveraged version of it, TQQQ. Basically, if NASDAQ is up by 1%, this thing's up by 3%. But also, if it's down by 1%, this thing's down by 3%. Okay, so triple leveraged, right? So triple the returns every day. Okay, you could see that, okay, the NASDAQ did really well. The triple leverage did a lot better. Okay, so over this time period, and this actually started here, so it actually doesn't even have the full length. But since 2010, the TQQQ is up 19,000% since 2010. So we're talking about 14 years here, 19,000%. So in other words, I believe that's 190 times your money. That's wild, right? That means if you put in $1,000, you'd have $190,000 right now. From $1,000 means if you put in $10,000, you would have over $1 million at this point. You'd have $1.9 million. That's wild. That's crazy. So first of all, TQQQ, very interesting asset in general, right? I own a bunch of my portfolio. It's done quite well. Just my manual trading stuff. I've made a lot of money trading this thing. But, the problem is that this thing has these big dips. So imagine this. Imagine if you're holding on to it. You're up at this point, up. In this case, it was up 19,000%. And then 2022 happens and you go through a bear market and it goes from 19,000% down to 4,900%. Still very good. But that is one hell of a loss, right? That means you lost 75% of your money in the course of like 6 months. Made it back right away, made it back very quickly. If you held it for another 6 months, it would have came right back up again. But I don't know about you, but I don't like seeing my money go down by 75% in a year. Like, that's crazy, right? So instead, we take this here, TQQQ, and we mix it with Ray Dalio's other suggestions. We have triple leverage stuff that we could buy for bonds. We have triple leverage stuff that we could buy for gold. There's a triple leveraged gold index. There's a triple leveraged commodity index. We use oil as a proxy. As triple leveraged 20-year treasury bonds. We put our money into those things. And when we backtest this thing going back quite some time, back to 2010s when they were invented, these things, we got a 29% average annual return. It's quite nice, right? In other words, from 2010, it would have been up 3,900%, or about 40 times your money. Meaning if you put in $10,000, it'd be worth $400,000 by now, right? That is quite a nice return over that time period. And this is not just backtesting. I've actually been running this for quite some time now. Here's with real money that I've been running it. I put in, this is worth about $5,200 now. I've made $1,700 on this algorithm so far. This is with real money. I've been trading this for since June 21st, 2023. So it's been about a year and a half ish, and I'm up 49%. I'd say this is a pretty nice year. But one of my regrets is just not putting in more money, to be quite honest with you. But went from something like, in this case, it would have been 4,000, would have been about $3,500 up to $5,200 in the course of a year and a few months. Fantastic algorithm. This has been serving me quite well. Like I said, we have some money put into this and it's been performing very, very well. Okay, so diversified leverage, fantastic. We've been running this algorithm for a while. Now, these are what I've been showing you so far. These are kind of our more tame algorithms. There's ones that we could do that are much more exciting than this, actually. I find it to be a lot more exciting. So here's one algorithm I'm actually very excited about, okay? Here's our Alpha Picks bot, okay? So this is another bot. What it does, and as you can see here, we're constantly creating a bunch of new bots. If you're a subscriber, you know this already. We have a whole list of them. We have an entire algorithm library here. So here is, if you're if you become a subscriber, if you're already a subscriber, you'll see in our GitHub that we have tons of algorithms here. Every single one of these is a different algorithm, right? I'm just talking to you about a couple of them, but we have quite a few. If you actually click on view more, here's this long list of different algorithms that you can get, right? And they're all quite easy to run. I'll show you how to run it later today. But let's say if I want to run this one here, this is our Condor Martingale. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you go into this algorithm, you'll just see two buttons here. Click deploy to render, fill in a few blanks, and that's it. And you have a working bot, right? Okay. So this is our algorithm library, right? So we have all these different bots, very easy to run. So all these ones I'm showing you, you can actually run with basically just one click. You run a click, you click on that button, you fill in your API keys, and then you're off to the races. And that's it. I'll show you how to do that later today. But just wanted to clarify that just in case you guys are wondering, each one of these bots are ones they could run. Each one of these are available to you, and we're constantly innovating new ones, right? Like I mentioned, we just built this sniper bot last night. I'm going to finish working on it today. I'm very excited. I'm hoping that if this thing works out quite well, if it works out the way I'm expecting, this could be a couple $1,000s a week in revenue. So I'm actually very excited about working on that one. Kind of makes me not want to share it too much, to be honest with you, but we'll see if I can get that one working by the end of tonight. But here's a few more to show you. So here's our Alpha Picks bot. Okay, so this one, what it does is it follows this company called Seeking Alpha. You may have heard of it if you go to seekingalpha.com. They've been in business for quite some time. They basically make articles, right? So if you go in here, you can see there's all these people giving really interesting analysis on stocks, right? So there's really, really smart people on here. And I don't know about you, but I've actually read a lot of these articles in the past and made some good money off of it. So what Seeking Alpha did is they decided, because they have so much data, right? They have this huge competitive advantage because they get a lot of data from all these different people posting on their platform, and they have a lot of data for stocks and different ways to analyze things. They decided to create their own stock picking service, we can call it, where they give you 2 stock picks a month. Okay. Now, I want to see if I could actually show. Let me see if I can show you guys this. I'll show you some of the picks that this thing gave me. So I'm going to log in here to the bank. And I'm going to click on one of the portfolios that I manage, and I'm going to show you a few of the picks that these guys gave me and why I'm so excited about this. So here's one account that I manage. It's about $1.1 million, right? It's 1.1 million bucks in this portfolio here. And when we scroll down, here's a few of my holdings. Here's one that Seeking Alpha recommended not too long ago. Okay. They recommended this stock, I think it was 6 months ago or 8 months ago, something like that. I bought this thing. I put in $25,000. It is now worth $160K. Let me zoom in here so you can see that. It is called Modine Manufacturing. They basically build like automated trucks and like some pretty interesting stuff, like pretty cool technology. $25,000 turned into $160,000 so far. Okay. Meaning I made $134,000 on this one pick alone, this one single pick. Okay. This is a Seeking Alpha pick. Another one that they recommended was Powell. I should put more money into this one. I put in 15 grand into this pick. It's now worth $83,000. I made $70,000 on this one pick alone. Okay. SMCI, this one actually, I did not time. I should have bought it when they were recommending it. When they recommended it, about a year later, it popped up by 1,000%. So if I had bought it at the right time when they said to do it, I would have been up 1,000% on that position. They actually set to sell it recently, which is one of the reasons why I actually want to build this bot, or why we built this bot, to automate this, because I was buying these things. Sprouts is another one here. Look at this, 23,000 turned to 43,000. Synchrony Financial, this is a very recent pick. This came out like a month or two ago. 14,000 returned to 20,000. So some very nice results from these picks. Now, the problem here is they give you these stock picks, but you get them in your email and life gets away with you, right? It's like, oh, I should have bought that. I should have bought SMCI. I was like, yeah, this is a good idea. I'll buy it. And then I forget about it and I didn't buy it and I lost out on 1,000% return. Or they tell me to sell it and I'm like, I didn't even realize this to have in my portfolio. That should have been sold because they said to sell it a little while ago, right? So what we decided to do is build a bot that follows their portfolio. If you go into Alpha Picks, I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to give away their stuff. But when you go into their portfolio, you can actually see this is how much they own of each one. And they also tell you, is it a strong buy? Is it just a buy, or is it a hold? Meaning they're probably going to get rid of it soon, right? So we built a bot that basically copies them. Okay. Their portfolio, this is how they've performed, right? They've actually done a lot better than this now. This is an older picture. I think it's now they're up 150 or 160%. While the S&P is up 50% over this time period. It's about 2.5 years. So they tripled the returns of the S&P 500 over the past 2.5 years using only stock picking and not putting in any kind of crazy leverage or options or anything like that. They've tripled the returns of the stock market. That's wild. Okay. So we built this bot basically to automate what they're doing because I kept missing trades. I kept missing when to buy, when to sell. It's kind of hard to actually follow them when you have, a day job and you got to do different things. So we just built a bot to do that. Okay. We've been running these bots for some time now. Let me show you how these have been doing. So here's Seeking Alpha bot. Okay, this is just purely following the recommendations. Since August 20th, it's up 12%. Okay, so we started this bot on August 20th, 2024. It's up 12% so far. That's great. I'd say that's a very nice return, right? I'm pretty sure that's quite a bit higher than what the stock market returned over that time. But we did something better than that, okay? Because they tell us this is a strong buy, this is a buy, this is a hold, we could actually start filtering this out. So we made another bot that's only like, okay, if it's a buy or a strong buy, they'll buy that. Okay, so in this case, instead of it being up 12% since August 20th, this one's up even further. This one's up 21% since August 20th. I'd say it's a pretty damn good year, right? This is, we're looking at this. This is more than double what the stock market returns every year, right? And this is done since August 20th. What is that? That's August, September, October. 3 months, we're up 21% on this one. Okay. We took it even a step further and said only buy the strong buys, right? If we're only buying their strong buys, we get an even better result. We get now almost 28% since August 20th. This is wild. 3 months, almost 30% returns with stocks only, not using any leverage or any options. That is flipping incredible. Okay. So that's our Seeking Alpha bot. If you guys are interested in this, again, it is in our list of strategies. You'd basically go into here, you'd find stock Alpha Picks. And I'm saying this partly for someone that wants to sign up, but also for those of you that are subscribers, if you actually want to run this, this is available right now. Go into here. There's that run on Replit button. We haven't added the run on render button yet. I will be adding that shortly. But essentially, all you got to do, click on this, right, to run it, fill in your API keys, and that's it. You're good to go. Okay. So if that's something that you want to run today, you can absolutely run this bot right now after we jump into the part where we're actually running the bots. Okay. All right. So that's our Alpha Picks bots. We talked about our Congress following bots, right? Following Nancy Pelosi, following Mark Green. You can follow any other Congress member. We talked about our diversified leverage bot, which I've been running for quite some time, been making me very good money. We talked about our Seeking Alpha bot. By the way, I'm planning to put like $250,000 into this bot very shortly. I'm just waiting to have some money move around. It's kind of taken a while to move money from Royal Bank to Interactive Brokers. But as soon as that happens, I'm going to be putting $250,000 into this bot. All right. But here's a few other ones. Here's some other really interesting bots that we've created. And again, keep in mind, we're making bots like this every week. We have this really interesting community where every single Tuesday night, meaning last night, people come in and will say, oh, I want to build such and such a bot. Like, for example, one person came in and said, oh, why don't we build that crypto sniper bot? We talked about it. We do a vote, right? People voted to work on that. And that's what we built yesterday. And potentially, I'm actually really excited to get this thing working. Potentially, this thing could make a couple 1,000% a week return. Maybe, right? So that's really, really cool. We're building bots like that every single week, right? Here's another bot that we built on a Tuesday. Okay. So someone came in. We have a lot of really good options traders in our Tuesday night sessions. And we talked about this a lot where they're like, yeah, we should be trading spreads. Okay. If you don't know what an option spread is, it looks something like this. Okay. Here's an option spread. We're specifically buying call or put spreads. So this is a buy call spread. Okay. Basically what it does is, let's say you buy into the stock. Okay. You could buy a stock, and if it goes up, you make money. If you buy a call option on a stock, it's kind of like a leveraged position on that stock, and you can make money if it goes up. There's an even better thing to do, and a lot of options traders that are new will buy calls or sell or buy puts. Some people even get more advanced and they'll do covered calls or things like that. Spreads are a really, really good idea. Okay. If you look at what a spread does, it essentially allows you to take a leveraged position on a stock, but because you're also selling an option, so you're buying a call at one price and you're selling it at another price, what that does is it allows you to now have this leveraged position for cheaper, and you're able to make returns with a lot less risk. Okay, so you're able to have your cake and eat it too, in a sense, right? Spreads are a very popular thing that the options traders use. If you're an option trader, you've probably heard of it before. You can make quite a bit of money trading these things alone, right? So what we did was we basically built a bot that trades option spreads. Okay, and specifically what this bot does here is it trades spreads on the SPY, right? So the S&P 500. So what it will do is we'll look for specific indicators, right? We'll look at what is the value of the VIX. If the VIX is too high, we will not invest. Okay, we'll be out. What is the trajectory of the market? Are we trending up or are we trending down? If we're trending up, then we'll want to buy a call spread, betting on things going up. If we're trending down, maybe we want to get into a put spread, betting on things going down. So you can basically see how the market's been trending. Are we in a bear market or are we in a bull market, right? So that's what this bot does. There's a bunch of different criteria that it goes through and then buys these spreads and legs into them. It doesn't buy it immediately. It buys it. Let's say if it determines that today is a good day, which I think it may have. This is actually kind of crazy. By the way, I've been running this. This is real money. Okay, I've been running this bot. September 18th is when I launched it. So I launched it about 2 months ago, a little less than 2 months ago. I am up so far 30% on this bot. This is real money, not fake money, not back testing. This is my actual account that I started at $39.70 and I made $1,200 on this account in the past 3 months. Okay, real money trading this spreads algo. Okay, right now own some spreads on SPY. It basically legged into them. So I'm now, every time the stock market goes up, I make quite a bit of money whenever that happens. So you can see here this past week, just this massive spike, right? Okay. When we back test this bot, though, this is not just live trading. This is fully expected, right? We did the research on this. We spent actually a couple of weeks going through this. There's a bunch of people in our community that have been working on this bot, and what we expected was to make something like 83% a year with this bot, with quite a nice drawdown. The drawdown is quite reasonable, 30% on an 80% a year return. It's crazy. Very good risk to return ratio. We actually have a metric for that. We call it ROMAD, return divided by max drawdown. It's quite a high ROMAD. It's how we evaluate a lot of our algorithms. So we expected this thing to do quite well. Actually, if you look at this, the bot didn't trade at all during 2022. So it took a really long break. It was off for, what was that, a year and a half? It just didn't trade at all, right? So if you actually got rid of this part here and you only paid attention to when it was trading, we were looking at something like 240 or 250% a year returns. It's wild. Like, holy crap, this thing is really cool. We ran in paper trading. We got some very good results in paper trading. And I'm like, you know what? Back test looks good. Paper trading looks good. I put some real money into it, and I'm up 30% in the past 3 months. Or was that 3 months or 2 months? 2 months. 2 months, 30%. I'm very happy so far with this bot. Okay. So this is our EMA spreads bot. We have different versions of this too. So this is just trading SPY. We made another one that's more diversified, right? So instead of only trading SPY, this one trades SPY, IWM, and gold. Okay. So it's buying spreads in all three. You can see the graph is a little bit more stable because it is diversified. So it's more likely to make money throughout. Return of 73% a year is what we're predicting. and only a drawdown of 23%. Keep in mind, over this time period from 2021, we back tested this over COVID. We really make it a point to do all of our algorithms over COVID because we want to see how it behaved during that time period, because a lot of things blow up during that time. This thing did not blow up during that time. As you can see, did quite well in blue. Smoked S&P 500, makes S&P look like it's nothing. But yeah, when we ran this thing, it's been doing really well in back testing. It did really well in paper trading again, and I put some real money into it. This is with live money, how it's doing so far. I put money in on October 28th. So what, 3 weeks ago, I'm already up 26% on the spot. 3 weeks. I'd say it's a pretty good start. So yeah, so that's our spreads trading bot. These are two different flavors of it. These are different configurations that you could run. If you want to actually run this today, if you're interested in running this thing today, you could sign up with, if you're not a subscriber, you could sign up with us today. You can actually run this thing right now. I will show you how to do it right now after this. Or if you are a subscriber and you do want to run it, basically go into here. We're going to find options, spreads, rolling EMA spreads. That's what's called, options rolling EMA spreads. Click on that. And then we go down here. There's a deploy to render buttons. Click on that button, fill in your API keys, and that's it. I'll show you how this thing actually works today. If you want to actually run it today, you can do that right now. All right. Okay, so really happy with the results of these bots. As you can see here, my bots have been doing really well. I'm very happy. I've had a great week. Across the board, all of our holdings I think my net worth over the past week has increased by something like 30%. I've made a crap load of money in the past week. Very happy with life. Okay, cool. Here's another bot. I'm going to show you only one more. We have tons of bots. I could do this like all day long. We have so many different bots that we use. These are kind of just my favorites. So I'm showing you a couple of my favorites. Here's our Iron Condor trading bot. So last one I'm going to show you before we actually jump in and show you how to actually run these things. Okay? But our Iron Condor trading bot, this is specifically version 12 of it, SPY 12. We have a lot of different versions of this bot. Basically what it does is it trades iron condors. So iron condors look something like this. If you're an options trader, you'll recognize this graph. If you're not an options trader, I'll do my best to explain it to you how it works. They are a little complicated, but to put it in a simple way, basically iron condors make you money if the market does not move. Meaning as long as things are calm, you'll make money, okay? So the way that it does that, okay, is basically it sells two options, okay? So it sells an option here, sells an option here, and then buys two options here and here. So basically, as soon as you put this, it's a sell algorithm, so it's net sell. So meaning as soon as you put this trade on, you immediately get cash. You make cash immediately, okay? And then the question is, are you going to keep it or not, right? If you keep it, right, the way that you'd keep it is that the stock market doesn't move that much, right? So let's say here, the market's at $100. If it moves down to 90, you lose money, but it's capped. You have a capped loss. If it moves up to 110, you lose money, right? But it's a capped loss. But if it stays in this range between 95 and 105, if tomorrow the stock market does not move that much and it stays within that range, you're going to keep your money. It's going to expire worthless, and you're going to keep that cash. Okay, so that's basically what it is. It's an income generating strategy. If you talk to options traders, this is a very popular trading strategy for options traders. It's one of those best kept secrets. I'm actually surprised this thing still makes this much money because I've known about this for years now, and it's still extremely profitable, right? It's an income producing strategy, so it creates a very nice looking graph. Look at this. It's a very stable graph. It doesn't matter if there's a bear market. The stock market was down. Look at this, 2022 stock market was down. It's kind of hard to see because this thing just beats the stock market by such a large amount. That's kind of hard to even see what's happening to S&P. But this yellow line down here is S&P 500. You could see that when it was going down in 2022, this thing was actually making more money, right? It actually did even better in a bear market, right? And the reason why is because you're getting paid this premium, and this strategy doesn't care if the market goes up or down. That's not relevant. If the market's going down, you could still be making tons of money as long as it just doesn't move too much, right? As long as it's calm, but heading down calmly, we'll make a ton of money, okay? So that's one of the reasons why I really like this algorithm. It doesn't matter what happens to the stock market, whether you're up or down, you can make money in both situations, okay? So here's a back test of version 12 of this algorithm. We have quite a few different versions. We could talk about in detail what each one does, but this one basically trades a delta of, I believe, 12, a delta of 12. There's no martingales on it. There's a bunch of features about this thing that make it version 12. We have versions all the way up to 22 now. Okay. And we predict this thing would do about 77% of your returns. Okay. Here is basically it running. This is running in paper trading for some time now. It got hit a bit by the elections. So it was up actually at one point like 10% up or 15% up. Now it's only up about 1.7%. Boo-hoo, right? I'm still making money. But elections kind of shook it up a little bit. But we have different versions of this too, right? So here's some different versions we've been running. Here's version 1. Okay, this one uses a martingale. Okay. Since June 21st, this thing is up 147%. So basically started at $100,000 and now it's up to $247,000 since June 24th. I'd say that's a pretty damn good result, right? Here's another version. This is version 4. This one's up since June 21st, up 19%, right? So that's what? June, July, August, September, October. So about 5 months, 19%. Very stable looking results. This is the back test for this version. We're expecting it to do about 34% a year. Very low drawdown. It's quite, I wouldn't say safe, but it is quite stable. This result here, you can see the graph looks very, very stable. Here's version 8 of it. Right, this one doesn't trade very often. It makes sure that VIX is very low and a few things. But even without trading, it traded very seldom, but still made 10% since July 2nd. Here's version 9 of it. This one's up 17.5% since July 5th. Here's version 10 of it, up 20% since August 16th. Version 11, this one's down 0.5%, a little bit. The elections affected it, right? But there's all these different versions of it that you can run. We're still adding more versions. We're even making this thing better and better over the years. But so far, this has been making me some very good money. As you can see here, this is the real money. Since September 12th, 14% this thing is up. This one here, 9, up 2% since October 17th. So we're seeing some very, very good results with this one as well. And again, it's really interesting because it makes money. Doesn't matter which direction the market goes. The past month has been a little bit rocky for it because of election season, because again, you're looking for times where markets are calm, right? But even still, you're seeing this thing is still making quite a bit of money through that. We're seeing our back tests having very, very good results. And I'm very excited about these. We're working on new versions of it and constantly refining it too. All right. Okay, cool. So I've showed you a couple bots. We have our Congress following bot. We have our diversified leverage bot. We have our seeking alpha bot. We have our spreads trading bot, right? Different versions of it. And then we have our Iron Condor bots. All of them performing extremely well. Again, I'm very happy with results, how our results have been the past little bit. If you want to run any one of these, sign up to one of our plans, or if you're already signed up, then you could follow along right now, and I'll show you exactly how to deploy one of these things and run one of these things right now, okay? Now, before we switch gears and we jump into actually how to run these things, do you guys have any questions about anything that we went over? Or any questions about anything at all, for that matter? Feel free to turn on your microphones or type in the chat. I'll give you guys a sec. If you have any questions about how any of these things work. I'm also looking at you guys here on YouTube. We have some people watching on YouTube. Let me know if you guys have any questions as well. I'm also looking at you guys on Instagram. Right. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to type that out. So someone says here, I want to trade like Nancy Pelosi. Very cool. Yeah, I agree. She is doing quite well. Our other algorithms are doing a lot better than Nancy Pelosi bot. I actually find it to be one of our least interesting bots. I haven't put real money into it yet, but it's definitely performing very well. I'll give you that much. I'm personally really interested. I'm really interested in these options trading bots and seeking alpha bot. Like those are ones I'm very interested in. Okay, cool. So some more questions here. So Abex says, can we run this on our cell? So I'm assuming you're on your cell phone. Yeah, you can. It'd be a little bit more complicated on your cell phone, but yeah, if you want to do this on your cell phone, you could definitely do that. I'd recommend doing it from a computer. I think it'll be a lot easier on a computer. I think, just switching things and whatever, but technically it is possible to do this on your cell phone. Yes. Yuri has a question. Whom do you pay for the options historical data? What would be your recommendations? So to get our historical data for options, we use Polygon. This is our data provider. So if you check out polygon.io, this is basically where we get our options data from. We really like them because they're pretty reasonably priced. So here for options data, and you do not have to pay for this, by the way, unless you want to backtest it yourself and you want to run your own stuff. We use this for our own backtest. So I'm paying this. You don't have to pay this. This is, anywhere up to $200 a month, depending on how much data you want. So this is where we get our data from, if you're interested, right? Again, you do not have to pay that, right? Unless you want to do your own back tests and do your own research, right? Okay, cool. Good questions, guys. All right, no problem, Yuri. Cool, and no problem, Epic. All right, okay, so let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an account with Alpaca. So why are we using Alpaca? Let's talk about them for a second. So this is how you'd actually run one of our bots, okay? So alpaca.market. So if you guys want to link to it, I'm going to put this in the chat. It's www.alpaca.markets, not .com. Alpaca.com is a totally different thing. It's one of those new age web things. .com is not a thing anymore. So go to www.alpaca.markets and basically come here and then click on sign up for free, right? When you go through that, you're going to fill out a form, fill in your first, last name, pick your country. Alpaca now, they work in the United States. I think they work in Australia now. Someone told me recently one of our clients is running in Australia. There's people running it in Singapore. I think it works in the UK and in Germany. So this is going pretty international quite quickly. I don't know what countries they work in. I'm sure you could Google that. But either way, pick your country. I'm assuming most of you guys here are from the US. But we do have people all around the world, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So fill in your first name, last name, your country, your email and password. When you do that, they'll send you an email, verify your email, very typical kind of stuff. And then once you have that, you'll be able to log in. So I'm going to log in here. Trading API is what we're using. I get that question pretty often. I'm going to log in here. I log into my Alpaca demo account. And then they force you to do this two-factor authentication stuff now, which is, I think this one, was it 22 that I have so many accounts with them. Okay, there we go. So that's, you can do it with your text messages too, but I decided to use an app. So either way, once you've created an account with them, you're going to get logged in and you're going to see something like this. Okay, so go to alpaca.markets, sign up, fill in your email. They're going to send you a verify link. Click on that link in your email to verify your email address, and then you will have your account created. Okay, when you create your account, you're going to have you can choose your account type. So you can either be an individual or an entity. It's very nice because if you want to save yourself on some taxes, right? Creating a lot of our customers do this. They have corporations and they use their corporations to trade. That way you don't get dinged by a lot of income charges, because if you're day trading stuff, if you're buying and selling things, I think it's less than a year, it's charged as regular income as opposed to capital gains. So a lot of people do this through corporations. I'm actually going to be setting up a C Corp as well for this. Right now I trade a lot of IRA money, so there's no taxes at all on it. But I want to set up a corporation soon to do this too. Or if you just want to do an individual account, you can do that as well. Either way, we don't need to do that right now. Okay. This is something when you want to use real money, you want to go through this, you're going to fill out this process, and that's how you do it. Okay. For now, I'm just going to show you guys how to use fake money, paper trading. Okay. But again, if you want to do real money, fill in that form and you'll get access to a real money account. Okay. But the great thing about Alpaca, and the reason why I do it on these things here, our workshops, is because you can create an account with them very quickly and get started very quickly. You don't have to go through this whole thing. I can just click on home in the top left-hand corner, and now I have some fake money. Okay, so here's a fake money portfolio. This has actually been running one of our bots. It's up $10,000, which is cool. $10,000 of fake money. That's quite nice. Just ran one of our bots. So that made quite a bit of money. That's awesome. But either way, when you come in here, you'll see basically $100,000. You'll see that it doesn't own anything. You won't have anything positions. You'll have a nice blank account when you get started, right? So let me know when you guys get to that point or if you're having any issues with this. Usually setting up an account with Alpaca is fairly simple, but some people do have issues with it. So let me know who here is actually opening up an account right now. Just show of hands, or if you guys want to type into the chat who's actually following along and do this. I'd recommend that you guys actually do this right now because this is a live session. The reason why we do this live is so that I can help you guys if you get stuck anywhere. But if you don't want to do it right now, and that's understandable, you might be watching on your cell phone or you might be at work or doing some other stuff. We will be giving you the recording of this. So you will get the recording and you'll be able to go through this again. Or what you could also do, and if you're one of our subscribers, even if you're not one of our subscribers, you can go through our demo, okay? Go to our website, lumiwealth.com. Under more, there's book a demo. On a demo call, we can actually help you get this all set up. So if you are a subscriber and you need help, you can go to lumiwealth.com/book a call. It says book a demo, but if you're a subscriber, then we could just help you get set up. We could just go through that with you. Or if you're someone who is not a subscriber and you just want us to show you some more stuff, you'll have a one-on-one session. So we can actually show you more of these things. We have a whole team that goes through this stuff. You'll probably speak with Tommy, Fisnick, or Alicia. So if you book a demo through there, we can have one of our staff members explain kind of all the details to you, go over everything if you have any questions, but then also can actually help set this stuff up for you. So if you need help actually setting up a bot, go to book a call, lumiwealth.com/book a call, book a demo, and we can actually help you get set up, right? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm assuming you guys have created an Alpaca account, right? So now that you have an account, okay, this is the stuff on how to do it, a little bit of screenshots. When you get to this account, what we need is one thing from this page, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to scroll down until you see API keys. For me, it's on the right-hand side. Some people will be below. If you're on a cell phone, you'll see it like way down at the bottom. By the way, look for the section that says API keys. And then for you, if you're doing it the first time, you'll see a button that says generate. For me, it says regenerate because I've already done this before. So I'm going to regenerate. Okay, generate new keys. And you'll see you get an API key and an API secret. Okay, consider this kind of like a password and username, right? This is how we're going to run your bot. Okay, we're going to connect to this broker using this API key and secret. And that's how we're going to be able to actually place trades using bots, okay? Using API keys. You may have heard of the term before, API keys. That's basically what it is. It's kind of like a username and password specifically made for software to connect to things. In this case, your brokerage account, right? So this is your API key and secret. For now, we're not going to do anything with it. Just leave it there. Leave it as is. We'll come back to this page later. Don't close this tab or anything like that. Leave this open. We will come back to this later on, right? Okay, cool. So there's your API keys. You generated them. We have your API keys. Fantastic. Okay. Next thing. So that's your broker. We're going to leave that alone for now. Okay. Next thing we got to do is we got to do your GitHub. Okay. If you don't have a GitHub account yet, go to github.com. github.com. This is not that one. The main web page. If you go here, I'm already logged in, but if you're not logged in, you'll have a big button that says sign up. It's free. Sign up for free. Just create your GitHub account if you don't have one yet. If you do have one and you're part of our one of our plans, let me know. I can give you access right now. If you guys do not have access, I can manually give that to you right now. Okay. But either way, once you've done that, you now want to go to this page, github.com/LumiWealthStrategies. Okay. If you are not a subscriber, you will only see this one algorithm. We have one that's public so that you can see what the process is like and you can go through it. That's actually the bot that I ran here, made $10,000 in this account. So it's still a bot that can make money. not a great bot, not anything that, that's why we give it away for free. Our working bots are a hell of a lot better than that. It still makes money, right? Still not a bad idea. So if you are not a subscriber, you'll have access to that one public algorithm, and I'm going to use that right now so that you guys can all follow along. But if you are a subscriber, if you have the starter plan, you should see 5 algorithms in here that they can choose from. If you're a pro or all access plan subscriber, you will see this entire list that I have here, right? And you can run any of our bots that are all performing, very, very well. As you saw, some of these bots I was shocked looking at some of these things, how much money we're making. Anyways, okay, so that's our library. If you don't have that GitHub account, create that GitHub account, because that's how we give you access, right? Okay, so that is GitHub. There's our strategy library, right? Starter plan has 5 algorithms now. We added one more. I'm going to update that to 5. And then Pro and All Access Plan have all of our algorithms. You can use any of the ones I talked about today and a lot more. We have quite a few in that list, right? And now once you're doing this, basically you'll go to this Lumiwell Strategies GitHub, and then you'll pick the algorithm that you want. In this case, I'll pick this example algorithm just so that you guys can all follow along, even if you're not subscribers. And then go down to deploy to render. You want to find this button, and basically we're going to click on that button, okay? There's also, by the way, a deployment guide here. Check out this deployment guide. This is basically what I'm talking about here in this presentation, but in written form. So it shows you basically how to deploy. If you want to deploy to render, this is how you do it. There's screenshots. We walk you through basically how to do that in written form if you prefer that, right? And there's also deploy to replit. It's a different thing that you can deploy to. I personally prefer render, but it depends on what you're doing with it. There's different use cases for each one, but either one will work. And we explain it to you how all this stuff works here with screenshots and everything, right? So keep that in mind. If you're running this stuff, if you want it in a written form and you prefer to digest things that way, that is available to you. This deployment guide, just click on that, and then you'll be able to see how to do this, all right? Okay. All right, so either way, at this point, you should have a GitHub account. You should be looking at our strategy library, and you'll be able to go in. Actually, even if you don't have a GitHub account, that's fine. If you want to just run the example algorithm, you do not have to make a GitHub account unless you want access to our proprietary stuff, right? Our algorithms are behind lock and key. You will have to create a GitHub account for that. But if you're doing this just, to run our example algorithm, you don't have to create that account, okay? Right, you can just go into that public thing, and then basically we'll be clicking on deploy to render in a second. Okay. Any questions so far? I'm going to pause here for a second for any questions you guys have. That includes you guys on YouTube. That includes you guys on LinkedIn and on Instagram. If any of you guys have questions, actually, I guess Instagram ended right now. There's a time limit of how long this can go for. I see some people on YouTube here. Okay, cool. Is there a cost to GitHub? Abek asks. No, there's not. It's free. The only thing that you'll be paying for, so Alpaca is free, GitHub is free. The only thing you'll pay for is Render, because it is a web hosting company. It's like AWS, if you've heard of them, or Google Cloud. You do have to pay them for their servers. You could run it on your own computer if you want. There's a way to do that. If you don't want to pay, it's like $7 a month. It's not that much money, right? $7 a month. If you're investing any reasonable amount of money, presumably you'd make a hell of a lot more than that with our stuff, assuming things go according to plan. But this is the only thing that you actually have to pay for, and obviously our fees if you want access to our algorithms, right? But this is the only thing that we're talking about here. That's yeah, $7 each. Yes, correct. $7 each algorithm. Right? There's actually ways to get around that, and we're kind of doing some research into that. We're going to be launching our own website very shortly, where we're going to cut out this entire render part. Right? We have 3 KPIs in our business. 3 things that we're striving towards is we want better algorithms with better performance results. That's a major thing that we're doing. We've really done quite well with that over the past few months. That's number 1 KPI. Number 2 KPI is we want to make things as easy as possible, meaning that you can launch an algorithm as quickly as possible, as cheaply as possible. We keep doing that. So the render, this is one way that we're able to do that. We've made this a lot easier. It used to be a lot more complicated. but we're eventually going to be launching our own website, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks. If things go according to plan, we'll have our own website up, and we're eventually going to add in the ability that you can run your own bots from there, and that's going to be included as part of the LumiWealth subscription, right? So you're not going to have to pay anything extra at all, right? So we're eventually going to have that, okay? And then our third KPI is we just want to get the word out, right? We're starting to work on our marketing and advertising. If any of you guys are very good at marketing or advertising, please let me know. We could definitely use some help with that. We're very good at building algorithms. We're very good at making these things run and all that. We are not marketing experts, so we need some marketing experts to help us out. So if you or someone that you know is a very good marketing expert, please let me know, because we could definitely use the help. Right. Okay, cool. All right, so let's jump back into this. So we talked about our different algorithms. I showed you a list of them. We talked about Alpaca. You open up that account. We talked about GitHub, right? How you get access to our library. Now we're going to talk about Render, okay? Now Render, what it is basically a hosting company. It's like AWS. It's like Google Cloud, like Microsoft Azure, like DigitalOcean, if you ever heard of them, right? These are all hosting companies that basically can take your code and run it in their servers, okay? So basically, they have a giant set of computers. I think they're using AWS's server farm, which they have one in North Virginia. It is like a massive, massive, massive building. If you've ever seen those things on TV, where it's just like these huge rows of computers that go on forever, that's basically where your stuff is going to live, right? These things are built to last. Like, basically, if there's a nuclear war, this thing will probably survive. They're like bunkers. They're very they're very secure computers and very good. So it's really good to run an algorithm on a server like that, because they make sure that everything's going properly, right? That the lights are on, that no power outage. Like, they have their own generators. They have like backup internet, so if internet goes bad, there are different ways to do that. And they have like armed guard security, that sort of stuff. So it's really good to run your algorithm on there. You could also run your computer, but then what if your power goes out? What if a hurricane hits if you live in Florida? What if your internet provider stops working? That happens to me from time to time. That's not a really good way to run algorithms. So we want to run them in the cloud. We want to run them in these server farms that are like nuclear bomb proof, with armed guards and backup generators and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's what we're paying them for. That's what Render does, okay? Where is the Render site? Where are their servers exactly? I don't know. That is a good question. I'm sure that's somewhere that you can find it on their website. If you go to render.com, there's probably somewhere on here. They'll tell you exactly where they're located. My guess is probably North Virginia. That's usually where a lot of things are hosted. If you're using AWS or Google, North Virginia is a very popular place for server farms. So that's probably where it is. But there's different servers located all over the United States and around the world. I'm pretty sure they're hosted in the USA, right? They might have an option to host it abroad if for some legal reasons or something you need to do that. I have spoken to people that want to run things out of Singapore, because if you run out of Singapore, you could trade crypto and you don't get blocked by things. So there are some reasons that you might want to host things outside of the United States. But for the most part, hosting in the US is a good idea, because, legal jurisdictions and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, so here's Render, right? You can get started for free. When you sign up, you will have to put down a credit card, because this will cost you $7 a month per bot. Okay. So the question is, will you need to sign up through LumiWealth registration? If you want access to the bots that I was telling you about, yes. I'll tell you about our plans at the end of this. I'll talk about the different plans that we have and how you can get into them. So if you want to use our bots, then yes, you're going to have to do that. If you want to run this example bot right now, you do not have to pay us, right? This is just an example. So you can still follow along and do this without paying us anything, right? You just have to pay Render for their hosting services. But if you want to run any of the bots that's telling you about, the ones that are performing very well and all that, you will have to pay our fees, which I'll talk about at the end of this session. Okay, cool. So Render. So so this is how we're going to get started with Render. So first thing we want to do is go into the bot that we want to run. So if you are a free plan subscriber, you only have one option. You can click on the stock example algo. If you are a person that is paying us for either a starter or a pro plan, you will see a much longer list of things here. and you could pick the bot that you like, click on that bot, and they're all going to have, or most of them, if they don't have it, let me know. We're still updating with the render button because it's a new thing. But most of them, if not all of them soon, will have this button here, deploy to render. Okay. So basically scroll down, find that button, and then click on that button. Okay. I'm going to click on that here. Now, if you don't have a render account, there will be a sign up page. Sign up to render, right? Email, password, you create that. They'll send you a confirmation link and you can confirm your email. Okay. Then they'll ask you for a credit card because, again, this costs $7 a month. So you're going to have to put in your credit card. Okay. Once you have done that, you will get to a page that looks like this. Okay. For the interest of kind of moving these things along, here's the process. Let me show you what that looks like. So click on deploy to render. You'll click the sign up, right? You'll verify your email. They'll ask you to fill in some stuff about yourself. This doesn't matter. Some people get stuck on this. They're like, oh, what do I put? Like, it really doesn't matter. Fill in whatever you want, right? This is just like a survey for them. It's not going to impact anything that you're doing. Okay, so tell us about yourself. Just fill that out. And then it's going to ask you for payment information. Fill that out. Okay. Once you fill in your payment information, you're going to have to connect your GitHub. This is if you're running one of our bots that are behind lock and key, you're going to have to connect your GitHub so you can get access. So click on that button. You give it access. You sign into GitHub, authorize. This is an OAuth flow. You've probably seen stuff like this. Like whenever you log in with Google or log in with Facebook somewhere, it's the same sort of flow. It's like, do you authorize this app to use it? Yes. Click authorize. Go through that whole thing. Right here, you want to use Luminal strategies, and then click save, and you're good to go. Okay. Then you'll get to this page that I'm at. Okay. So if it's your first time going through this, you will have to create an account, fill in your credit card information, and then log or link your GitHub account. All right. Okay. So in the interest of speeding things up, I'm gonna keep moving. But if you are actually going through this and you get stuck anywhere along that line, please let me know. This is a live session. The reason why we do this live is so that I can answer your questions and help you if you have any trouble. So please let me know if you have any issues. All right. Okay, but I'm going to continue assuming that that all worked out well for you. Okay. And again, we're going to be sending out the recording of this as well. So if you want to view that again, or if you want to go through a deployment guide, it kind of goes over the same stuff. Right. Okay, cool. So we have now clicked on deploy to render. Now it's asking us for a blueprint name. This doesn't matter. You can basically fill in whatever you want. I usually just copy this stock example algo. Branch, leave it alone. Don't change it. Should be main or master. Okay. And then here, this is create new services. So I'm going to use create new services. This probably will not show up for you if you're doing it the first time. If you're doing it more than once, then you probably want to click create as new services. First time around, you're not going to have that option. And then it's just going to say here, okay, this is how much it's going to cost. So it costs $7 per month. Okay, great, perfect. Once we're all good to go here, we filled in the name, all that. We're going to click deploy blueprint. Okay. Name already in use. We'll say 2. Make sure we use that name. Put in a name, all that stuff, and then click deploy. Okay. All right, cool. Then you're going to see a page like this, and it's going to say, okay, creating a background worker. It's basically starting to deploy it. The problem is that we haven't told it yet to connect to our brokerage account, right? We haven't filled in our API keys. We haven't done all that stuff yet. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to click on this background worker. This is, a lot of people kind of get lost around this. There's this little link in the middle here. If it hasn't shown up yet, you might have to wait a little bit or maybe refresh your page so that's clickable. But basically, we're going to click on this background worker here. Okay. This is called a blueprint that we're in. And then this blueprint is running our actual bot. This is our actual bot in here. Okay. So we click on that. And then when we click on it, we see that now we have a bunch of stuff on the left-hand side. Okay. So on the left-hand side, what we want to do is we want to go to environment. Okay. This is to be able to edit our environment variables. Okay. This allows us to basically link our account to this thing, right? So allow this bot to link up to our brokerage account. Okay. So we click on environment variables. We click edit, right? And now we want to change these things. So here are the values, right? We have key and we have values, okay? On the left-hand side, we have key. On the right-hand side, we have value. Notice here that there are 3 things we got to fill in, right? We got to fill in our Alpaca API key, our Alpaca API secret. If it's paper or not is already set to true by default, but if you're using real money, set this to false if you want to use real money, okay? I'm going to leave it on true because we're using fake money right now. Live config. Most algorithms that we have these days will have this, and basically it's what configuration you want to run. In this case, when I go to this algorithm, just to show you what this looks like, if I go into this example algo, I'm going to click on SRC, or better yet, actually, this is easier. If you go into backtests, okay, here are the different configurations, right? This is, HTML files and JPEGs and all that. So there's one called TQQQ_spy, and there's another one called TQQQ_UPro. So let's say I want to run this one, TQQQ_spy. I'm going to click on that. This is the back test of it, how it ran in our back tests. If you want to actually use this, then now you can copy the name of it, TQQQ_spy. And that's what this thing, actually, let's go, I'm going to use a different one. I'm going to use TQQQ_UPro. I like the results of this one a little better. So this one's 31% a year, very high drawdown. It is a risky thing to get into. Again, this is not one of our paid algorithms. It's a free one. It does have some pretty good historical results, 31% a year, but also has very high drawdown. So if you're going to actually put money into this, be aware of that. This is not one of our paid algorithms. This is one that, can still make you money, but does have quite a bit of risk attached to it. So just please be aware of that if you're going to put in real money. Okay, I'm going to copy that name, TQQUPro. I'm going to stick that into my live config. Okay, that's my live config. If you're doing this with other algorithms, let's say if you want to do this with our Condor martingale, there's like our Condor trading stock or Condor trading option algorithm. Go into that one. You can look at back tests, and there's a bunch of them in here. There's SPY 10, SPY 11, SPY 12. There's this new one that we created I'm very interested in. I just put real money into this one today, is SPY 22. This one had a really interesting result. 146% a year is what we're expecting, and a 39 or 38% drawdown. So very high risk to return ratio, quite aggressive. This is definitely an aggressive algorithm. I wouldn't put my life savings into it, but I did put about $5,000 into it. And if this goes according to plan, that $5,000 is going to be worth something like $12,000 in the next year. So I'd be very happy with that personally, make a couple grand off that. Okay. Either way, here's that algorithm, right? If you want to use this one, this would be your live config, SPY_22. Okay. So if you're running the different ones, look at that. Not all of them have live configs yet. We're slowly adding that to more and more of these things. But if you are doing that, look at the backtest folder and then just take the name of that file, right? Without the dot whatever at the end. Okay. All right. So we did that for that example algo. So we're doing TQQQ_UPro. We filled in that blank, market 24/7. This is not one that you need to have here. We have this in here because a lot of times I do these presentations after market closes. So we kind of trick it into thinking it's a 24-hour algo. You can delete this if you want. And then we have our strategy name, which you can modify if you want to, just to keep track of things, right? Okay. Either way, we see we just have 2 things to fill in here. Okay. So if you remember, Alpaca API key and Alpaca API secret is in Alpaca, right? So let's go back over to Alpaca. This is our broker. Now, if you want to use different brokers, by the way, there's actually at the bottom of our deployment guide, we have broker configurations. So if you want to use Tradier instead, you'd swap out these, right? You'd use Tradier access token and Tradier account number if you want to use them instead. If you use Alpaca, this is what it looks like. If you want to use Coinbase, this is what it looks like. If you want to trade with Coinbase, if you want to trade with Kraken, right? So you basically could just swap out and use different, right? If you want to use interactive brokers, username and password is what you have to put in. So all these different brokers that we work with, you could swap these out, okay? But I'm going to stick with Alpaca, okay? So I'm going to go back over to the Alpaca brokerage. I'm going to go over my API keys. And actually, one thing I'm going to do first, I'm going to sell these just so you guys can see how it works. I'm going to sell my assets. So you'll see that I have no positions, okay? Just so I could show you this thing actually trading, okay? So let me sell, closing out my positions. Okay, there we go. So you see my account now doesn't own anything, okay? I have no positions, right? And I'll show you when we run this bot that's going to go in and it's going to buy this stuff for you, okay? So here I'm going to copy over the API key, right? Double click on it. You can go right click, copy. I suggest double clicking because it's easier to take the whole thing. So double click, copy, and then I'm going to paste it in here. So we have alpaca API key and the actual key. And then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to grab the secret, double click it, copy, put it into this blank here. And that's it. We've basically filled in everything, right? This is pretty much all you have to do once you have an account. Just fill in these blanks. That's it, right? Fill in the blanks, hit save, and then we're going to relaunch this thing, right? So we go up to here to manual deploy and go deploy latest commit. What this is going to do is going to relaunch it using our new settings, these new environment variables that we put in. So now it's actually going to connect to the broker and actually going to do some stuff, okay? So I'm going to click here, deploy latest commit, and then now it's going to start up, right? So now we're going to watch this thing go through the startup process. It's going to set everything up. This takes a little bit of time. I think it takes like 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll let this thing go. Basically, you'll see building will go from this gray building, and it'll turn green, and it will say live. Okay. And once that's done, your bot is working and you're good to go. All right. So we're just going to watch this thing here. I'm going to also show you my brokerage account. Again, I have nothing in here in my brokerage account. There are no holdings, no positions. Okay. This is a blank account right now. And you will see once this bot starts running, you'll see it actually place those trades. And then we'll also see that this thing flips over and says green and it says live. Okay. So while we wait for this, any questions about anything that we've covered today or anything else to do with, actually any questions at all, ask me anything. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know. You could put it into the chat. You could turn on your microphones if you prefer to do that. You can message me if you're on YouTube. I am watching YouTube messages. So if you want to ask me a message on YouTube or on Instagram or on LinkedIn, I am watching all of these things. So let me know if you have any questions about anything that we've covered. Just going to watch this thing set up. So Abhinav says, are there any scaling algo available to use readily? What do you mean by scaling algo? What is a scaling algo? Scalping. Do we have any? I think we've built some scalping bots in the past. I can't think of any right now at the top of my head. If you're interested in working on some of that, you can. I think you're one of our subscribers, if I'm correct, right, Abby? If you are, you could join us on our Tuesday sessions, and we could actually work on a scalping bot. I'd be happy to do that. I think we have code somewhere that does this. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But I do remember working on a scalping bot at some point in time. So we have code somewhere. If you're interested in that, feel free to, you could send me an email or here's a call to book with me. If you want to book a call with me, you could do that here. Right. Yeah, if you have any questions around, a scalping bot or anything specific, you can book a call with me there. Cool. But yeah, I think we have something, and if we don't, then that'd be a cool thing to work on in our Tuesday sessions, because scalping, I've heard, can be quite profitable. We do have a lot of bots that are making some quite good money. So it is there's some competition on which bots are the best, but I'd be interested in working on a scalping bot for sure. I think there's some interesting stuff there. Yuri says, I'll try the free bot later today locally. Sounds good. Awesome. Let me know if you need any help with that. Okay, cool. All right. So as you can see, guys, here, we actually just got a trade come in. So our bot is now live. You saw these positions just got placed, right? You see status filled a few seconds ago, right? So now we are proud owners of TQQQ and UPro. And now let's see how these things do. This combination has already made $10,000 in this account. So it's up 10% since last I ran it a couple weeks ago. Off to a good start. But again, this is just our example bot. So whatever. Right. Okay. And also when we go back to here and render, we can see that now it's green, live with a check mark. Okay. That's what things should look like if they all went correctly. Okay. All right. Awesome. So we went through this. Here's our clicking on that. Here's the environment variables, how to redeploy it. Here's the live check mark, and then success. We actually placed the trade and it's in there. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it. So we have our bots working. It's actually live. You've seen our bots. Now let's talk about next steps, right? So first of all, if you are a subscriber to one of our plans, Starter, Pro, or All Access, this is where you can get our strategy library. I'm going to share that link with you again. So if there's any bot that we talked about today or any bots that you're interested in running, they're all in there. Just click on it, click deploy to render, and that's it. You can follow this process with any of the bots that we have. Okay. If you don't see a deploy to render button, let me know. We're still adding it across the board. But basically, most of our bots now have that button that you can click on. Okay. If you're not a subscriber, then you can go in there and you can still use one of our example algorithms even that we have for free. Okay. All right. Next thing. So now let's say you want to become a subscriber. Okay. What does that entail? So here's our starter plan. And if you go to our website, here's another way of looking at it, lumiwealth.com. I'm going to share that with you guys. lumiwealth.com. You can click on see plans. I don't know why I opened a new page, but there we go. Okay, here's our plans. We have Starter, Pro, and All Access. They have different sign-up fees and different monthly fees for each one of them, and each one comes with a different amount of features and algorithms, okay? So we'll start with our first one, which is our starter plan, okay? What you're going to get with the starter plan, you get the recording of this workshop. You're going to get a lot of additional algorithms, right? You're going to get access to our trading signals, which is basically this thing here. You could watch our algorithms as they trade. You could see which ones you like. You could follow them, see how they're all doing. Okay. There's a bunch of bots that you follow here. You could actually copy the trades too if you want. Okay. Some people do that. You'll get access to our algorithmic trading course that will teach you how to build these algorithms. If you're interested in learning how to build some, you will get a course that will teach you how to do that. You also get access to our Python for Finance course, which again, if you want to learn how to use Python to do trading or any other financial related stuff, we have a course on that you get access to. You'll also get access to our live algo building sessions. These are really, 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 really cool. All these algorithms, these ones that we're talking about here, all of these, they came from our Tuesday sessions. It's because what we do is every Tuesday night, we have a lot of really good traders join in. We have people from Goldman Sachs. We have people from like all sorts of different places that join our Tuesday sessions. And basically we'll say, I have an idea. What if we did this? For example, Abby, you're saying you want to build a scalping bot, right? Someone will come in on a Tuesday session and say, hey, I'd like to build a scalping bot. That's interesting. They'll make their case. They'll do a pitch. And then we'll all do a vote. And if you win that vote, we're going to build that bot, right? So yesterday, for example, was our crypto, what do we call it? Crypto, it is called Sniper Bot. That's what it's called, a crypto sniper bot, which basically buys brand new coins, holds them for 3 minutes, and then sells them. I want to get this thing finished up tonight, and if it works well, this thing could make a couple $1,000s a week. Very interested in that, right? Okay. Either way, you get to be part of these sessions. It's really, really cool. So if you have trading ideas, you can join. If you want to see how the magic is made, you can join and you can see all this stuff being created. Okay. You also get access to our basic strategy library, okay, which will give you, I believe, 5 different algorithms right now, including the the Iron Condor trading bot. You'll get our diversified leverage bot and some crypto bots. So you get some pretty interesting stuff in there. This one right now is a $9.99 sign-up fee, and then $100 a month afterwards, so about $1,000 to sign up and about $100 a month afterwards. We will be raising these prices soon. I want to raise this to $2,000 sign-up fee within the next few weeks. So keep in mind, if you want to get a good deal on this, this is your chance because this price is going up soon. We're starting to get really, really good track records. I've said this from the beginning. Our competitors charge $15,000 to $30,000 for their product. We have a better product. The problem is that we don't have a track record as long as theirs yet. If you go to a company like NERP or you go to a company like, there's a bunch of other companies that sell algorithms, like good ones that will actually for real make you money, not like some silly whatever stuff. Ones that actually for real will make you money. These guys charge $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 for their product. We want to get our prices to be there. Okay. The only reason why we don't charge that much yet is because we don't have a long track record yet. We have only been doing some of these new algorithms for a few months, so we can give it to you at a much cheaper rate. But as we go on, this price is going to keep going up. So right now it's $1,000 sign-up fee. This will be $2,000 before the end of the year. And next year, I plan to raise this quite a bit further. Okay. So if you want to get a good price, get it now, right? $1,000 sign up, $100 a month. This is the starter plan if you want to access it, right? So let me click on that here. I shared with you guys the link, and then this is basically what it looks like, right? So starter plan. And you can go down, you can see the features, all the stuff we talked about, right? And then workshops, you get all the different things, right? So you can read through it and click on buy now. And then when you go through that, you can actually make that purchase, right? So that's our starter plan. Okay. Then we have a pro plan. If you want to get access to all of our algorithms, our pro plan will give you everything that's in the starter plan and give you our full strategy library. That's everything that I showed you in here, right? There's quite a few different algorithms that you can choose from. We have our sniper bot that I keep talking about. There's our Iron Condor trading bot. We have that spreads trading bot that we talked about. We have our Alpha Picks bot. We have quite a few different bots in here. You'll get access to all of them. We have options bots, crypto bots, stock trading algorithms. We're soon going to be creating futures and Forex bots as well, because a lot of people keep asking about those, and I'm seeing some pretty good results with those. So we're going to make Forex and futures bots soon. But right now we have options, crypto, and stock algorithms. I bet you no matter what your mentality on trading is, you could probably find something in there that is going to make you quite a bit of money. So Pro Plan gets you our full strategy library, and you get that one-click run, and that's basically how this all works. If you want the Pro Plan, you can click on this here. It is, I believe, let me show here. It's $2,000 sign-up fee, and then it's $200 a month after that. Okay. Here's a full list of features. Again, we're going to be raising prices soon. We are expecting to make this $4,000 before the end of the year. So if you want to save money on it, now is your time to do it. This price will be double before the end of the year. Okay. Our strategies are getting very, very good results. We're getting very, very good track records. Our competitors are charging 10 times more than us. So we are slowly trying to move our prices towards theirs as we prove to you guys that our algorithms actually work and do produce money. The more proof that we get, the more that we charge. All right. So right now it's $2,000. This will be $4,000 before the end of the year. Okay. That's our pro plan. You get access to everything from the starter plan, and you get access to all of our algorithms, the entire list of them. Okay. Then there's our all access plan, which is going to give you everything from the starter and pro plan. It's also going to give you access to all of our courses. We have quite a few courses that we've done. We have our algo trading course. We have our options trading course. I'll teach you how to make options algorithms. We have our AI course. We have our crypto trading course. We have a blockchain development course. So we have quite a few different courses that you can get access to when you're on this plan. You also get one-on-one support, so which is kind of the main thing here. If you need help with building any stuff, if really this plan is made for you, if either A, you run a hedge fund or an institution, right? We're speaking to a lot of different hedge funds these days, a lot of different corporations that want to get into this stuff, like either family offices or different types of investment funds. If that's you, this all access plan is for you, okay? Or if you're someone who's a developer or someone who wants to build their own algorithms or take what we have and modify it, this is for you as well, okay? And basically, what we're going to give you is we're going to give you a lot of support. We're going to make sure that these things are set up correctly for you. We're going to make sure that we modify it to work exactly the way that you want it, right? We're going to be able to create new algorithms or modify our existing algorithms for you. This is a full service. We'll help you get completely set up on our all access plan, okay? There's also private coaching sessions that you get with this as well, okay? So if that's you, if you've matched that description, this is the plan for you. Here is our all access plan. I just realized I didn't share the pro plan. I share the pro plan link here for you guys. If you want to sign with the all access plan, this one is a $5,000 sign up fee and $400 a month thereafterwards. Again, you get a lot of help with this, right? This is more than just algorithms. This is us actually helping you out, making sure that things are installed correctly, making sure that we're following your algorithms, things are going well. If you need help with coding, we'll do that. If you need custom development work, we'll do that. you get a lot of additional things with the all access plan. And as with the other ones, this price will be going up soon. We'll probably be charging somewhere around $10,000 for this by the end of the year. All right. Okay, cool. So those are our plans. We have our starter, pro, and I'm going to share the all access plan as well here. All right. I also promised you guys a coupon code. So if you guys want to save some money, here's the coupon code that you guys can use. This is the coupon code when you go to checkout. So let's say you go click on all access plan, you'll go add to cart. This coupon code will give you 25% off the monthly fee, right? And it's going to expire at midnight. So if you guys want to use this before midnight tonight, Eastern time. I have instructed my team to turn this off at midnight. So in 8 hours from now, this thing stops working. Okay. So if you want to use it, you'll click on the add to cart. You'll take that coupon code, you'll type it into here, add coupon, and you'll see that the monthly price comes down. All right. Renewal fee after discount. So you'll go from $400 a month to $300 a month, or if it's a $100 a month plan, you go down to $75 a month. So you're going to save yourself some money using these coupons, using this coupon, right? So UGK4AWXR, type that in at checkout, and you'll get yourself 25% off the monthly fee. All right. Cool. Any questions on anything that we covered today? Or anything else in general? I'm going to share this link here too to book a call. If any guys, if you're not a subscriber, feel free to go to this book a demo. You can actually get on a call with one of our staff and they'll walk you through one-on-one all these different things. So if you have any, detailed questions, you can get into a lot of things. If you want to really understand better how an algorithm works, you could do that. If you want to see more examples of, whatever questions you have or whatever stuff you want to go through, click on this, book a call, book a demo, just pick a time and you'll have one of our staff members go over this with you. If you are a subscriber, you can also book a call if you need some help actually setting up these algorithms, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, any questions? Feel free to turn on your microphones if you want to, or just type into the chat. Again, I'm looking at you guys on YouTube as well. Looking at you guys on LinkedIn. Cool. All right. So if you do have any questions, again, there's a book a call link that I shared with you guys, lumiwealth.com/book-a-call. Okay. Or you can also go on our website. There's a button in the bottom right-hand corner here. There's a little chat. Right. So if you want to chat with us, you'll click on that button down here and you can have a conversation with someone real quick if you have some questions about whatever. All right. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, this has been fun, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for attending. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I wish you guys lots of success in trading. Like I said, I am really happy after this past week. I took some days off because I was like, we made so much freaking money that I was just like, you know what? I want a day off. So I took some time off last week. I'm feeling good. I hope you guys are feeling good. I hope you guys, if you do subscribe with us, let me know. We can jump on a call after you guys. We should do a setup thing. If you're not subscribers, I don't understand why not, but that's your decision. I think that's kind of crazy, but whatever. But either way, I wish you guys lots of success and happiness. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And thank you very much for attending and listening to what we're talking about, right? Have a great day. Later, guys. Thank you, Yuri.